my NBA journey. So I want to give a shout out. Did I wake up a monster in here? Laker Nation in the building. Okay. Shout out to Dr. Bus and the Bus family and the Rambis family for always supporting me. Okay. Thank you. Oh, LeBron is here. Oh, LeBron James in the building. All right, thank you for coming, buddy. Thank you to all my 2020 Lakers teammates for making it possible to call myself a champion. Thank you to the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame for accepting me.
Welcome back to my channel. Okay, let's get into this one right here. Well, what the hell was that from Dwight Howard and LeBron James exchange last night? I don't know what the hell that was. Now, when I first seen the video, I didn't see the whole induction, the whole Hall of Fame and everything that was going on, who was getting inducted. All I saw was the Dwight Howard video on YouTube. So when I seen that, it prompted me to say, like, why is LeBron here? So as soon as I did the post, and I was going through YouTube, the 2008 Redeem Team came up and they were getting enshrined in the Basketball Hall of Fame. So I kind of felt like an idiot, but at the same time, you know, Dwight Howard never even called LeBron James' name out. He basically just, you know, called out the Lakers organization in his journey to winning a championship. And they put the spotlight on LeBron James, and he just sat there rubbing his beard, looking crazy. And Dwight Howard, you know, he really didn't say his name at first to even give him any props. But he was like, oh, LeBron's in the building. And then he said, did I wake a monster and all this stuff? It was just like weird. Like, you know, it's almost like, you know, he wasn't giving LeBron props for being able to win a championship in LA. But at the same time, the media put LeBron James in the spotlight. So Dwight Howard would have to give LeBron James the props for bringing him a championship. But the realize that if you want to be real, it was because of Dwight Howard that LeBron James got that championship. Remember, it took Dwight Howard and AD basically to shut down Joker to get into the to get into the NBA Finals in a bubble on top of that. So not too much in, what was it, 22, 21, 23, when they had all those guys on the same team. Who was it? Carmelo Anthony, not Chris Bosh, Dwight Howard, AD, LeBron James, and of course Russell Westbrook. So I did think it was a big deal at first because I didn't know they were getting inducted, the 2008 Redeem Team. And, you know, they kind of talked about the whole experience. And they only had, I think they had Jason Kidd up there. They had Chris Paul. They had LeBron James, Dwayne Wade. And I want to say somebody else. I can't remember. I know they had all the coaches up there. Well, a couple of the coaches. I thought it was somebody else. That might have been it. But when they got to Jason Kidd, he pretty much said he was the babysitter of the team without saying he was the babysitter. But he was trying to be funny. He said he was the Gatorade guy, the towel guy, the whatever guy for these guys. You know, at the end, he said they didn't have enough Advil available, which means, you know, it's all true what they were saying about, you know, Jason Kidd babysit LeBron James. But he didn't come out and say it. But, you know, he actually gave LeBron James props. He said, you know, something about LeBron James. What did he say? I forget what he was talking about, his energy, and he was just always something. I forget what it was. I don't want to say the wrong stuff, but he said he was up there with Kobe as far as, you know, the top two in practice, which is whatever. I mean, he ought to be. I mean, he's getting promoted more than anybody else, so he ought to be. It ain't something that, you know, we should be clapping our hands at. The guy's been getting promoted since he came into the league in 2003. Up until that point in 2008, just with all these meltdown and failures, not losses. Because if you lose and you put up good numbers, you just lost to a better team. They can't hold that against you. But Dwight Howard, I didn't know this guy was that funny. I kind of knew he had, like, you know, a crazy personality, but wow, I didn't know he was that funny. I didn't know. He's got a better personality He's more funnier than Charles Barkley, Shaq. Shaq on TNT, he's not funny, man. I don't even know why they have him on there. He's not even, him and Charles Barkley just towers over him as far as, personality. We all know Shaq can be funny, but Charles Barkley is like, they both try to be like dumb funny. But Charles Barkley, as dumb as he is, he's funnier than Shaq. And it's just like they have them both on that show just as, because they're both legends. But, back in the day, a lot of people thought Shaq was maybe going to go to ESPN because a lot of people thought that was a clash to put Charles Barkley and Shaq on the same set, because they both try to be the funny guys. Now, I think, to me, it hasn't worked out for Shaq. I think he's just taking the money. I ain't saying he did a bad job on TNT at all, but I think, he's always just been in the shadows of Charles Barkley on that show. But I don't think he wanted to go to TNT because he would have to live in Connecticut, I guess. So he didn't, not TNT, ESPN, he didn't want to go there. So, yeah, but Dwight Howard, wow. I'm surprised they haven't had him on like his, I don't know, ESPN or, one of them shows. I know he's got his own podcast. And always, to me, I watch his I can't watch these guys' podcasts because they're going to sit there and they're going to lie. And they're going to make up stuff a lot of times just to get views, just to get clicks and stuff like that. So, yeah, I didn't know he had that big personality. Bigger than Shaq's, bigger than, I wouldn't say bigger than Charles Barkley, but, he's more intelligent than Charles Barkley, more well-spoken than Charles Barkley for sure. I can say he can be funnier too. Just that time when he was speaking, man, that dude is funny. But I don't think he, a lot of times they just want the superstars on those shows. I guess TNT, well, I won't say ESPN anymore. They throw anybody on ESPN. I don't know if the ESPN really could handle Dwight Howard in the first place. Yeah, but he's a funny dude, man. He's a funny dude. He's got way better personality than LeBron James. And I've seen Dwight Howard before his podcast, and a lot of times these guys just character act when they're like on, I don't know, when you see them, they're like on post game, pre-game, maybe they're on a commercial, whatever like that. These guys are just character acting. A lot of times you don't know the real character. Like, we told you about LeBron James. And once you do so much research into his career, you find out that you really don't even know who the hell this guy really is. And everything that you done seen from him and heard from him, to me, is no more than a guy playing a character. And we don't really know his real personality. And we, Kobe talks about him being this, real nice guy, funny guy, the guy that makes everybody laugh. And that, he just wants to be liked by everybody. And, we heard early on, like, Skip Bayless always talking about he's real soft. He don't want to, he don't want to be the bad guy. He don't know how to play the role of the villain and stuff like that. And when we talk about him going to Miami, he didn't have no choice but to go to Miami and play the villain. Because if he didn't go to Miami, he wasn't going to win nothing. So he was just this overhyped superstar who could never win. Yes, he was a funny guy, but at the same time, you guys got to, as much as they lie about this guy's career, he grew up as a rich boy, right? He didn't grow up as a black kid from the hood, as they tell you, because we done, found out he grew up as a rich black kid, where his mother gave him away to a rich family. So he grew up going to, private schools that cost tens of thousands of dollars a year to go to. It's just funny, like, when you just delve into the story and you're scratching your head, like, what family who already has a family would just take this kid off the streets because he can run down the street in 5th grade fast? Like, what? And pay tens of thousands of dollars a year for this kid to go to private schools in middle school and high school. And we're talking about, these Catholic schools. So the story is just weird to me. I guess we'll never know the full story. I think his mom gave him away when she was young. I think when she was probably when she had him. And the whole story is just a fraud. Because like I told you before, I know people. I know of people who gave their children up at birth to the foster parents, and they were able to keep in touch with. It's a deal that you can make. You keep in touch with your child while your child's growing up. That's what the family wants. The foster parents will give. The foster parents will give through an agency the mother money for the kid. Yeah, this is real stuff, folks. The mother will get money, tens of thousands of dollars. The agency will get money, and if that's what the foster parents and the parent agrees to, then the parent or the mother who gave her kid away can keep in touch with the child growing up. Yeah, it's real stuff, and I think that's what really happened. I think that's what really happened. They just don't want because we found out his mother. Well, it wasn't like no mystery, but yeah, his mother got pregnant at, I want to say, it was real young. It was like 16 or something like that. 15, 16 in high school. By his father. And come to find out, his father, LeBron James' father, played basketball at that high school, and he was like the star of Akron. He was the star of Akron. And then, I don't know, I think he got, I forget the story. I think he got like maybe accepted some college. He became like, got into drugs and, crime or whatever like that. And the whole thing just blew up. But it's a whole other story surrounding that too. I'm not going to get into it. I did in another video, but the whole story just, their real story just sounds stupid. That LeBron James was running down the street one day in the 5th grade, and they saw him run down the street. Some recovering alcoholic football coach, and they liked the way he ran. So the coach was like, I want LeBron James on my team, blah blah blah. And then the story just goes on. It's a long story. I'm not gonna get into it. And then finally, he finds his way into the other coach's house, where they adopt him into the family. And the wife worked for the Senate in Cleveland. It's the most ridiculous story. It's just like you pawn your child to go live with two different people. One was an alcoholic coach, and then the other one was this other family that he ended up growing up with the rest of his life since he was in 5th grade. It's like you just like giving your family away, your child away to strangers. What? And like I said, it ain't like the state came and took your kid. That's not what you're saying. That you can't take care of your child, which is one child. You didn't say the state came and took your child. You just gave your child away to some strangers. What? What? Okay. I tell you what, with the LeBron James story, you can't believe nothing. There's not nothing too much you can believe. Nothing. That's what I try to tell you. We know why he didn't want to go face Kobe, because he was going to get beat by Kobe, so he melted down in 2009, 2010, so he didn't have to go play Kobe. It's just every time you watch that video of, what was it, First Take? Yeah, first and 10, whatever that was. The day after they lost to the Celtics in 2010, and Rob Parker's on there with Skip Bayless, and they're talking about LeBron James waved the white flag in the fourth quarter with like, I don't know, it was like 5-6 minutes to go, and they still had a chance to come back. And he stopped taking shots. He was turning the ball over. They said he just waved the white flag, and his team went the same way LeBron James went. They gave up too. So it's just like weird, man. They're telling you right there on the show the next day that this guy basically gave up because he didn't want to go face Kobe. He didn't want to go face Kobe. Mm-hmm. Yep. So again, that's what I'm saying. The only way this guy could win, or had a chance to win, was build a super team. And he didn't really want to do that. Trust me, if he could, he won't build no super team. But his only chance to win was to build a super team. That's it. So, we did a video yesterday. At best, this guy's a Scottie Pippen. We put up all the numbers in, Scottie Pippen's first two finals. He blows out LeBron James in stats in every category except for the three-pointer. And LeBron James shot like shit at the three on top of that. So that ain't saying nothing. And then we put up, what was it, Kobe's first three finals. Kobe had better averages than LeBron James. And Kobe was what they call a sidekick. Michael Jordan just blew LeBron James away in stats. First three finals averages. And it's one that we put together with Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant had better stats in his first three finals than LeBron James. Blew him out the water. So yeah, he's just a sidekick, like we said, parading around to be, a leader. Basically a leader. That's why we always say, when he won his championships with the super teams, it was just, he didn't lead those teams to a championship. He was just amongst the other number ones that won the championship, right? So when we look at the big three Celtics in 2008, there wasn't no leader on that team. They were all number ones, right? They just won as those three. They were just amongst the three leaders that won the championship. Yes, somebody gets the finals MVP. Yes. But it wasn't no leader on there like that. They're all number one players, franchise players of another team. It's like if, Charles Barkley, Hakeem, and Drexler would have won a championship. There's no leader there. They just, they were amongst the leaders, amongst each other, whatever. Like LeBron James was just amongst the other two leaders that won a championship in Miami, Cleveland, LA. All those guys were number ones. There's no leaders. This guy's parading around as a leader. He's a number two, not number one. A number one can bring you a championship. He already knew that when he went to Miami. I'm not the villain. I'm not a bad guy. And everybody knows I'm soft. But the only way I can start, I got to get my career going. They're giving me all these MVPs, playing in a weak conference, and I'm a number two. I'm saying he won a good player, good player in the '90s. Great player, no, in the '90s. Nope, no, he ain't got those type of skills, man. He don't have positional skills. Positional skills don't mean skills on the highest level. Don't mean, hey guys, I'm being promoted as the greatest of all. Well, one of the best in the league. Let me get my stats and let me prove that. Nope. 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 You got to be able to make good guys look great, or average guys look good. He can't do that. And how do we know that? Because he's never been able to get draft picks and do that. He will trade draft picks. This guy's a joke. So let's talk about this Charles Barkley thing. Look, guys, I don't know what these guys out here. I like Charles Barkley as a player. And that's where it stops. And I don't know what these guys out here, on YouTube clean to Charles Barkley and give him all these props because they're trying to get views and get subs or whatever like that. But it seems like they tell the truth about a lot of things. But when it comes to, Charles Barkley, they seem to get scared. Or like I said, they seem to not want to tell the truth about him because they want to get the views. But the fact is, I call cap on Charles Barkley. A lot of the stuff that we've been saying for years, now this guy just wants to say, oh, LeBron James was wrong for building this super team. Oh, his championships don't count because he built a super team. All this, like, dude, you should be saying this a long time ago. You should be condemning this dude a long time ago. And that's why I said, you can't put this on Clutch. You can't put this on LeBron James. You can't put this on these sorry weak dudes of this era who are getting promoted to be more than what they are. You got to put it on these past players in these past eras. These 90s guys, these 80s guys, these 70s guys. And it's not too much of, you just come out and you just like destroy, the 210s or the 2020s. That's one thing. You don't have to do that if they're not taking shots at you. But the fact is, they have taken shots at you in your eras for a long time. And you just sat there with your tail between your legs and said nothing. Nothing. And Okay, we get it. We know, the NBA is weak, and we see what we see. And if you say something, you might expose the league and make it, bring more harm to the ratings. But I'm not going to give this guy credit because every time I turn around, this guy will say something that we've been saying for a long time. You don't get credit for that. You don't get credit for. You're supposed to be the guy that talks out of turn, the guy that be telling it like it is, the guy that can't shut his mouth, Charles Barkley. But is he really? Because he ain't really been exposing the stuff that we've been exposing from day one. Because this guy wants a paycheck. Like I said, that's why I said you can't even believe any of these guys made the kind of money we were told. Because after they retired, they got to go sit on the damn desk, put on makeup, and read from a script. Yeah. I ain't scared to say it. Maybe a lot of these other YouTube channels scared to say it. I done said it a million times. So I can't give him credit, man. He basically, when he comes out and says these type of things that we've been saying, or we said for a long time, why does he get credit for saying it? Because he's Charles Barkley? No, we said it a long time ago. We said LeBron James cheated. We said, he been taking, drinking the juice. Did it the wrong way. Ain't this player? I think it was Charles Barkley. I'm being serious. If I ain't mistaken, wasn't it Charles Barkley after LeBron James won the 2020 bubble, said he was the greatest player of all time? I could have sworn, man. I could have sworn that he said if he wins this one, he's the greatest player of all time. And then in the post interview, I'm gonna have to look it up. I could have sworn. And when he said that, I was finished. You can't take that back. Because not too long ago, he said the bubble don't even count. The bubble championship don't count. He says the worst championship of all time. Correct me if I was wrong. I'm gonna look it up in a minute, but I could have sworn he said that time makes LeBron James the greatest of all time. And he does a lot of that stuff too. He just goes back and forth, He says a whole bunch of stupid stuff. And like I told you guys before, I don't even know why these guys are even in the 2020s doing this work. It's like they need to bring some other guys on here that maybe played in the 2000s, something like that, and let them commentate. You don't need 90s guys and 80s guys and stuff like that. It's a whole different game. The 90s was a different game from the 2000s. And the 2010s was a different game from the 90s. And now we're in the 2020s. What are they doing talking about the 2020s? Because to me, you should be trashing the 2020s. But these guys are just on here collecting a paycheck and reading from a script. They're not really talking from their heart. And that's why I can't believe Charles Barkley when he says stuff that we've been saying on our channels for years. But, all these people on YouTube, they want to hype this guy up like he's really saying something. Dude ain't saying nothing. He ain't saying nothing. To me, he was an all-time great basketball player. That's it. Other than that, I don't know. If he was a great basketball player and dumb funny, he couldn't even be on TV because he can't even finish a sentence. You don't even know what the hell he's talking about half the time. But because, he's dumb funny, they put him on TV. Listen to him, Charles Barkley, and listen to Kenny. It's like two different. Oh my God. Nothing intelligent coming out of the mouth of this guy. Really. If you can't even finish a thought, he can't even finish a thought half the time. So like I said, I'd rather have some 2000s guys up on that panel, even though it's a whole different game, but it's, at least, maybe those guys that play today, they grew up watching the guys in the 2000s maybe. So, put a Dwayne Wade on the panel, put a Carmelo Anthony on the panel, put, I don't know, whoever played in those 2000s that's retired, put a Dwight Howard on that panel. Like I said, he's pretty funny. Guys like that. Why you had Charles Barkley, Kenny Smith, and Shaq? These guys played in the 80s and 90s. It's stupid. And what it tells you is how bad the star talent really is. I don't know. I'm not trying to say they're a bad group. I think they're excellent, but I don't want them being associated with the 2020s. One thing with the 210s, and these guys even had a lie about the 210s, all this super team building and doing it wrong and stuff like that. Now you got the 2020s, which is a complete joke. They play zero defense. So I just don't even know why they're even up there anymore. But, yeah, a guy like Big Dummy Perk, that's who you would expect to be up there, even though he kind of sucks. He just sucks. He tried to be like a dumb, funny Charles Barkley, but he's just dumb. He's not funny. He acts like, he tries to be this, I don't know, it's a fake character. He tries to be like this funny, dumb bully. But nobody's scared of him. He's hard to look at. Makes you want to throw up. So he's just dumb and ugly. Another dude that made almost $100 million in his career, who has to put on makeup and has to have a job. Yep, just like the rest of them. So I said it a long time. I'm not giving Charles Barkley no props for anything he says as far as the stuff that we say. Or we say, and I don't want to hear, oh yeah, he can't say this stuff because his job and stuff. Then don't say it at all. Don't say it later. We've been saying it. Don't say it once you leave TNT. Because a lot of times he'll say this stuff. He won't say it on TNT. He'll say it on somebody else's show. This stuff that we've been saying for a long time. It's like, it's ridiculous. So, of course he's right, but he's just biting off the stuff we've been saying for a long time. So I'm not giving him props for stuff we've been saying for a long time and stuff that they should be calling out, period. If they're going to be part of the 2020s, as far as commentators or whatever like that, analysts, you should be responsible for just calling this out straight up. For one, this ain't even LeBron James' era. If you can't be an NBA analyst and tell the truth, I don't even know why you're up on there. I don't want to hear no truth later after, the groundswell's been like that for like years. And yeah, Charles Barkley out there telling the truth. The super team wasn't good. LeBron James didn't do it right. No shit. We've been saying that forever. Where you been? Where's the rest of the 90s guys? Where's the rest of the 80s guys? We don't want to hear it later. And I keep hearing a lot of this stuff from, a lot of these ex-players coming out saying, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it because the only reason why this stuff is like this is like it is because you guys didn't say nothing. And it's not the fact that they didn't say nothing per se. It's the fact that they basically pissed in the eyes of your legacies just to justify, the game that they've been playing since the 2010s. I won't say all the 2010s. I would say since about 2018 when LeBron James lost his 6 finals, they start saying, unathletic white guys, guys who can't dribble, all this crazy stuff. They start saying about the 90s, 80s, 70s, 60s, all this stuff when LeBron James lost his 6 finals. The Nick Rice and the Shannon Sharps, all these guys started coming out. So since then, they've been pissing in your face, and you ain't really said nothing. It's been us that had to come back and make these videos and, oh no, this is wrong. And the fact is, it just ain't about LeBron James. It's about, the entire NBA. They tore the entire NBA down just to justify what this guy did wrong, just to justify his losing. That's crazy. One guy. They tore the whole damn NBA apart for this one guy. And it can't never get fixed. They changed the rules for this one guy. They destroyed the ratings for this one guy. They destroyed, like the competitive play, defense, positional basketball, all that stuff. When you think about Joker has 3 MVPs and he's not the face of the league, what is that? How stupid is that? That makes zero sense. In any era, a guy who had 3 MVPs will be the face of the league at that point. Not only that, they will be trying to put this guy with another superstar. LeBron James seemed to get 2 superstars wherever he went, damn near all of his career. But Joker can't get 1. That's what I'm saying. Why ain't the NBA shoving another superstar in his face? We got to get this going. We got to get your, career going as far as you winning championships so you can be up there. That's why I try to tell people, I don't want to hear nothing about this guy being an all-time great in top 10, top 15. No, stats ain't going to do it, son. You got to have championships. You had Giannis, just played with another superstar. You had Booker and Kevin Durant, another superstar. You had LeBron James in LA all those years playing with superstars. Curry basically playing with a borderline superstar with Jimmy Butler. Luka Doncic. I mean, then you have Kyrie, and then you got AD. What's going on, folks? What's going on that this guy don't have a superstar teammate? And, you know, I put the blame on him too, because what are you doing? You're going back to Serbia, playing, you know, FIBA basketball, doing all this stuff, exhausting your body in the off season. How come you ain't resting? How come you ain't demanding another great superstar? A guy that has 3 MVPs should have 4. What? What if SGA gets another championship before this guy gets one? Huh? But I don't think he will, because that ain't the 2020s. The 2020s is they don't want any. As long as LeBron James is playing, ain't nobody winning back-to-back championships. Nope. That will make him look really bad. Well, worse. It'll make him look worse. So they already got that script written. Next year probably be, I don't know, man. I won't be surprised if it's Anthony Edwards, so they can get him, you know, get him going, and you know he won it in his 5th year and all this stuff and blah blah blah. That'll be it. He won't win another championship. And it'd be somebody else next, maybe Luka, somebody like that. But yeah, it's just, you know, it's just sad for Joker. And I'm not, you know, I'm not going to put it all on the NBA, and I'm not going to put it all on Joker. It's a combination of both. You know, we hear Scat crying all the time, like, it's this guy's responsibility as a 3-time MVP to go out and get another great player. But it seems to me he's going with the script. He's going with the script. And the script is the NBA don't want him to have 2 championships while LeBron James is playing. Ain't gonna happen, folks. Ain't gonna happen. Sorry. And basically, I forget who they added. He ain't a superstar to the Denver Nuggets, but you know, they got a whole bunch of people that's, you know, hurt again. They're gonna be hurt again. And that's it. They're not going to win another championship. The Mavs just got stronger. The Lakers are going to get stronger. They're not going to win another championship. It's just not. They need another superstar on that team that can play superstar status with Joker. That's it.